My wife, Emma, used to be the kind of woman who'd light up any room she entered. We'd been married 8 years, and for the first 4, I could have sworn we were that rare couple who never lost the spark. But lately, things had shifted, slowly at first, then all at once. It started with the headaches. Small ones, she said. Tension, stress, hormones, always something. At first, I believed her. I'd rub her shoulders, make tea, handle the kids' bedtime, and tell her to rest. I thought I was doing the right thing, being a good husband. But weeks became months. Every night I reached out. Every time I wanted to hold her, to just connect like before, the same phrase came out of her mouth. Not tonight. I have a headache. It got to a point where I could finish her sentences. I could almost predict the timing. Right after dinner, right before we got into bed, she'd sigh and say those words, and I'd smile weakly, pull away, and pretend it didn't sting. At first, I thought maybe she was struggling with something deeper. I asked her gently if everything was okay, if something was bothering her. She said she just needed space. So I gave it, but space turned into distance, and distance turned into silence. We stopped laughing. We stopped touching. Even her texts became transactional. Pick up milk. Don't forget Lily's practice. Dinner's in the fridge. And then one night, as I was folding laundry, I noticed something. Her perfume, a scent she used to wear only on special occasions, had returned. But not for me. Not for a date night. I asked her casually where she was headed. Out with the girls, she said, without even looking at me. The headache apparently was gone tonight. That's when something in me shifted. I didn't confront her, didn't accuse her. Instead, I began to observe. Quietly. If she wanted to live like I didn't exist, fine. I'd mirror it back. So the next morning, when she asked if I could fix the loose cabinet door, I said, sorry, I've got a bit of a headache. Her eyes narrowed, confused. I smiled politely and went back to my coffee. It started small things she'd taken for granted. I began to let slide. The car needed gas. I forgot. The trash was full. I didn't notice. When she asked if I could pick up groceries, I simply said, I'm too tired tonight. First, she brushed it off. Then came the irritation. Then slowly panic. She started asking why I was being distant, why I wasn't helping like before. I just smiled, the same tired smile she'd given me 100 times, and said, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not in the mood lately. Took about 2 weeks for her to realize what was happening. I wasn't cruel. I wasn't cold. I was just done trying. One evening, she came into the living room while I was watching TV. Her tone was softer than it had been in months. Can we talk? She asked. I muted the screen. She looked nervous, almost guilty. I've noticed you've been different lately. I shrugged. Just tired, I guess. Happens sometimes. She bit her lip. It's just, I feel like we're drifting apart. We are, I wanted to say, but instead I said nothing. The silence stretched between us, heavy and uncomfortable. She looked down at her hands, twisting her ring, a gesture she used to do when she was anxious. Then, almost quietly, she said, You haven't asked me about my headaches lately. I looked at her then, really looked. You haven't mentioned them. For the first time in months, she didn't have a reply. The next few days after that conversation felt strangely quiet. She started hovering around me more, making small talk in the kitchen, asking about my day, offering to watch something together. It was like she was testing the waters, trying to see if the distance she'd created could still be crossed. But I'd learned something valuable during those months of rejection. Connection can't survive on one person's effort. So I kept things polite, neutral. When she laughed at something I said, I smiled but didn't feed it. When she reached for my hand on the couch, I didn't pull away. But I didn't squeeze back either. That hesitation, that in-between space, became her new discomfort. Then one Saturday morning, I found her in the kitchen, phone in hand, face pale. She quickly locked the screen when she saw me. Who was that? I asked calmly. No one, she said too quickly. Just Sarah from work. I didn't respond. I just poured myself some coffee. Later that evening, I checked our shared tablet. She'd forgotten to log out of her messages. And there it was, the truth that had been hiding behind all those headaches. Messages with a man named Darren. Flirty. Familiar. Weeks old. I didn't explode. Didn't scream. I simply read. The lines were enough. Little compliments. Late-night jokes. Subtle emotional intimacy she'd withdrawn from me. When she came out of the shower that night, I was sitting on the edge of the bed, tablet in hand. Her eyes widened when she saw the screen. "It's not what you think," she blurted. I let out a quiet laugh. "That's the thing, Emma. It's exactly what I think." She opened her mouth, searching for a defense, but nothing came out. I stood up, walked past her, and said, "You know, it's funny. For months, every time I tried to get close to you, there was always a headache. But now I see it wasn't pain. It was guilt." She followed me into the hallway. "It was just texting. It didn't mean anything." I turned to face her. "Then why did you need to lie about it?" Her lips trembled. For once, she didn't have an excuse. That night, I slept on the couch. And for the first time in months, I slept peacefully. Over the next few days, she tried to apologize. She cooked my favorite meals, sent long messages, even bought me a new shirt I'd once mentioned liking. But something fundamental had shifted. She wasn't the only one who'd stopped feeling connected. I had too. A week later, she broke down in the kitchen. "I miss you," she said. "I miss us. I made a mistake." I looked at her for a long moment. "You know what's strange, Emma? Ever since I stopped helping you, no more chores, no more emotional support, your headaches disappeared." Her face flushed red. Shame, realization, maybe both. "I was lonely," she whispered. "So was I," I said quietly. "Difference is, I didn't go looking for someone else to fix it." That's when she cried. Not the angry kind, but the broken, tired kind. I wish I could say that moment fixed everything. Didn't. We tried therapy. We talked. But something between us had cracked too deeply to mend. 3 months later, she moved into her sister's place. We still talk occasionally, mostly about logistics, the house, the bills. Sometimes, when I'm driving home after work, I pass by the cafe where we first met. I remember her laugh, the way she used to reach for my hand without hesitation. And I think about how love doesn't always end with a fight. Sometimes, it just fades under the weight of small lies and quiet refusals. People ask if I'd ever take her back. The truth? I don't hate her. I don't even wish her ill. I just finally understand that love, without respect and honesty, becomes a headache of its own. One that never truly goes away until you stop treating it. And for me, that's exactly what I did.